Welcome to Mammoth Lakes, where I've come to test out the new Pinarello Dogma GR, and as you can see, it's raining today. The question that I'm trying to figure out is, does this bike live up to the hype? The Dogma GR is Pinarello's first true Dogma for gravel, and you can see right away that it shares DNA with the tour-winning Dogma F. The geometry is racy, it's got steep angles in the seat tube and the head tube. That means you're sitting in a more aerodynamic position, yet it still feels planted and stable up front. That's kind of the magic here. It's aggressive without being sketchy, which is key for fast gravel racing. Up front, you'll notice Pinarello's signature top tube bow and the head tube nose shape. They've been kind of refining this since the Dogma F8 that launched a little over 10 years ago now. The new version is slimmer and more narrow, which Pinarello claims it cuts through the wind more effectively than previous models. Now combine that with aero tube shaping and even hidden through axles, and this bike is just clean and sharp. And while it feels racy and stiff in the right spots, it's also more compliant in just the right places. See, Pinarello designed a brand new seat post for the GR and their new series of gravel bikes, and the seat post has up to 8 millimeters of flex. And on Mammoth Tuff's long washboard descents, you feel it, and it makes getting through those long, chattery gravel road sections much more enjoyable. The frame shape balances stiffness, aero efficiency, and comfort. And that means that you can hold a powerful, consistent position on the saddle even when the terrain gets rough for extended periods of time, or at least that was my experience. The cockpit is also new. Pinarello calls it the Talon Ultra Fast GR bar. It's got 7 degrees of flare and 7 degrees of inward bend. Feels stable in the drops and compact in the hood, which is ideal for fast gravel racing. Now I do have to note that with my test bike, it came with 44 centimeter wide bars. It's 2 centimeters wider than stock. And after riding it, I think that 42 centimeters is probably the right size for those who would buy this bike. And if you want to go even further, it has 2 rivet mounts on the top for clip-on gravel TT extensions. Yes, Pinarello designed this bike to be UCI legal for gravel time trials. So how did all this tech translate into the real world? On the chunky opening descents of Mammoth Tuff, I expected a little bit of twitchiness, but thanks to that front end stability and the flex in the seat post, the bike really felt secure and pretty planted. Where it really came alive was on the climbs and on the rolling terrain. On predictable dirt roads, the Dogma GR felt like a proper road bike with extra tire clearance. It accelerates quickly, it rewards you for every watt, and it absolutely loves to climb. And on the road sections, well, I found myself comfortably in an aero position and able to hold plenty of speed and power. Again, this bike felt very much in its element on those lighter gravel sections. So much so that for those who want a bike that doubles as your road bike, and you've got the budget, I think this is a great option. My test bike came in at a measured 16.7 pounds with full SRAM Red XPLR AXS. Had a 40-tooth chainring up front and a 1046 cassette in the rear. Now on climbs, that gearing was great, but on the flats and especially on descents, I would have preferred a larger front chainring, maybe a 42 or even a 44 tooth. I'd still be well within that 1-to-1 gear ratio for climbing, while giving me more top-end speed when the road shifted. And if you love a traditional 2x setup, it's got mounts for a front derailleur. That's what Caleb Botcher, who won the Mammoth Tuff, was running. The Dogma GR has that ability to run 2x drivetrains, which really broadens its race versatility. Now from a comfort perspective, I was pretty surprised. I didn't feel beat up or wrecked after racing the Dogma GR. Between the seat post flex, the geometry, and the frame design, it strikes a balance between stiffness and compliance that I really wasn't expecting when I received it. And of course, everything's fully integrated. The cables are all internal. They're routed through Pinarello's new headset system, so the front end is clean. There's not a single exposed cable in sight. One of the best surprises of this bike was the downtube storage. Pinarello has given us storage that uses the entire downtube. In fact, this case is 15 inches long. Tools, food, CO2, I packed it all in there and there was still plenty of space left over. It's the biggest storage space that I've seen on any gravel bike, and I hope that more brands utilize that space effectively. It's officially, you can fit up to a 45 millimeter in the front and a 42 millimeter in the rear. The Dogma GR gives you top tube mounts, really streamlined and race focused. Compare that with the Grevil F, which not only clears 50 millimeter tires front and rear, but also has extra mounts on the forks and the underside of the top tube. I actually spent some time with Ben Delaney at Mammoth Tuff, and side by side, it was clear. He was on the Grevil F, and that's the more adventure-oriented bike, while the Dogma GR is laser-focused on racing. And thankfully, I shuttled his Grevil F back home with me, so look out for a full review of that bike, plus a comparison between the Grevil F and the Dogma GR. So who is this bike really for? Well, I think it's for the competitive gravel racer who wants that road bike speed with just enough stability for dirt. It's for riders who care about design, heritage, and performance, and who don't mind paying a little bit of a premium for it. It's not for bike packers, it's not for the ultra distance riders or anyone who needs that monster truck size clearance. For that, you'll want the Grevil F or something like an Allied Able or an MV Mog. But as a purebred race bike, the Dogma GR absolutely delivers. It's fast, it's efficient, it's beautiful, and it rides exactly like you'd expect a Dogma to ride. So would I race it again? Absolutely. Would I call it the ultimate gravel bike? Not for everybody, but for the right rider, this has the potential to be the fastest and most exciting gravel bike that they'll ever ride. What do you think? What's your preferred bike? A bike like the Grevil F or the Dogma GR? Do you like wider tire clearance, or are you okay with that 45 front and 42 rear? Do me a favor and drop me a comment below. Anyways, it's getting really rainy out here. Thanks a ton for watching. Until next time. Yeah, that doesn't really work out here.